A reminder to all crew members, there is only one toilet on the ship.
I think I'll initiate an unscheduled rest cycle while you're out.
Let's go, troops. Stellar Base counting on us.
Here we go!
Don't mess with us. Right, here we go. We're help.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, Captain. I've got work to do.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight!
Solid kill. The last of them.
Got it. Heads down. This is nice. Calm before the storm and all that. Never come to this. I'm just real glad to know you all.
I'm afraid you have a... for... Oh. Fair enough. I'm giving you exactly one... Yes, I'm quite aware of... That isn't true. That experiment was absolutely essential to... Don't you mock me. We're going to have to start all over again. All that research, all those... You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight. And don't worry.
Hell of a job. Making it look easy. Why won't you just... The last of them.
Get me out of here!
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much too... And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I would like nothing more than to celebrate. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in... 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end.
You're quite right. We've got no...
You mean...
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest mind. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job. You won't hear a... You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to... We're not a colony any longer, are we? I'll ask... Our future is uncertain, and no...
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists, engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Sublight Salvage adapted to the changes in Halcyon, shifting their business model to suit the times. Their claims of legitimacy were scrutinized, but ultimately unquestioned. Lilia Hagen would continue to protect her family as ruthlessly as ever. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to, under the leadership of your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income, life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to... He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from... Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat, Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, the SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable effort. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive them. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? You brought an end to the chaos on Tartarus and proved yourself the most capable leader left in the colony. You administered the colony in your own image. With the old power of the board destroyed, no one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain